Say hi, Grandma.
Hi, honeys, and I wish I knew all of you. I wish I knew your names and everything about you, but I don't. But I do know that you have a wonderful teacher because she's my granddaughter, and I love her very much, but I know you do too. So she wants me to tell you a little about my growing up when I was about 12 or 13 or something like that. Well, I wasn't a very ladylike person because I loved my big brother, who was a couple of years older than I, and we spent a lot of times wandering around out in the pasture because we lived sort of out of town, not in a small town, actually, very small, Benjamin, Texas. You remember that? And do you know where it is? You might look it up on the map because it is there. But other than that, I was a happy person. I never felt like I was poor, although I was very poor. But everybody else was too. In that, at that time, we had just come out of the depression, and I know you. If you haven't studied about it yet, you will, at some time or another, hear the words the Great Depression. Well, it was quite great because many of the richer people just went broke, and a lot of them committed suicide. But we struggled along with a little old farm, and my daddy also worked out on he worked on the highway depart for the highway department, which made it a lot easier for us because he had a regular salary every month, and that made us be able to buy more food and things. But anyway, I got through the seventh grade, and it was a more difficult grade than, well, it began being more difficult in the sixth grade, and then from the seventh. But I always loved my school days. I was always, in the summer, I was glad to be back in school when it started. And when I graduated from high school, I was sorry to see the day come because I liked being in school. And although we didn't have enough money to send me to college, however, I did have a partial scholarship, and so I went to a business school in Wichita Falls from Benjamin. And I also had success there with my grades. I never had any problem because I loved to study. And you can really find fun in studying, and it's interesting. And when you get older, like I am, you'll think back on those days and the things that you learned and wish you really could remember everything that you learned because you'll be still using it at this time. And Sarah, what else do you want me to tell about?
I think you should tell him about making that big jump from Texas to,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's a
All
big
right. Well,
deal.
as the years went by, I did um, finish education in Wichita Falls, came back home and took a job, actually for the State Department in the Department of what is now the Department of Human Resources, which was helping people that needed more funds to buy whatever they needed. And they did get some help from the government, which many of us had to do. But luckily, my dad was working, and we didn't have to resort to that. But I decided that I wanted to go somewhere else, and my brother was serving in the armed services then now and was stationed in California, and he had just got married, and they urged me to come to California. So there I was. I had a little bit of money in my pocket, and I went down to the service station where the bus usually stopped in Benjamin, Texas, and my mother went with me, was very sad to see me leave on that bus, that big old bus, to go all the way from Texas to California, all by myself. And you know what? She even sewed some money for me in my pants pocket so that I wouldn't lose it. And is that the story you want me to tell,
Yeah,
Sarah?
that's cool. I think
Climbing
that's very special.
on the bus, and there was a couple of little soldier boys on there. And at that time, we didn't have to be worried much about making friends.
People were respectful. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't come on and are these are
Like
you
bother you. Yeah. Yeah.
bother you? Okay, well he didn't. He just helped me out, and when I seemed to be insecure about some things, he would help me, like to get off the bus and be sure that I got back on. And then we got back out to California, and I went out to where my sister-in-law and my brother were living, and it was a very, very small trailer, a housing trailer. Had a bed in the back and a table in the front, and that's basically, if you've been in a travel trailer, you know what it looks like. But that's where we lived, and I went out to work with her the next day at the Army post, and I got a job that very first day, so I was on my way to a better life. I was just sure I was. And I've always enjoyed life, and I hope that you do too. Hope you make everything come forth for you just like you want it to be, and it may not be, but if you just keep plugging along and doing the best that you can, you will find things are pretty happy. And I can tell you, after, I even hate to tell you girls that I'm 90 years old. 90. You know, that's pretty getting up there. But I just have enjoyed my life, and I'm still enjoying it. And going to church and trying to depend on the Lord to help me. And maybe you are not supposed to be talking about this in school, but we're going to just whisper it and go ahead and listen a little bit. But I don't know really what else to say except that I have enjoyed my life. And I hope that you will, and that if you will find someone that you can turn to, like Sarah, or someone else in your family and your friends to help you out when you have a problem. Don't be afraid to tell them. And God bless you. And I hope you enjoy my granddaughter as much as I do as her grandmother. Bye now.
That's great.